Subhas Chandra Bose was born in the year 1897 in the region of Bengal in British-ruled India. He was born into a wealthy Indian family who worked for the British administration. However, after witnessing the injustice of the British rulers against his people, Subhas began speaking out against British rule. In 1916, he was expelled from the Presidency University of Calcutta after he defended an Indian student who was being physically abused by an English professor. Therefore, Subhas began participating in anti-British activism. However, he eventually left politics and later decided that the only way to free India from British rule was armed resistance. Subhas used his family wealth to fund armed resistance groups such as the Indian Socialist Republican Association, who organized a armed robbery of a British train in the town of Kakori, and Anushilan Samiti, who attempted to assassinate the British officer known as Charles Augustus Taggart in the city of Calcutta. Due to his links to these armed resistance groups, the British authorities put the name of Subhas on their blacklist. Because he was wanted by British authorities, Subhas left India at the beginning of World War II. He left the country disguised as an Afghan, with the help of Afghan tribes who smuggled him across the border into Afghanistan. After arriving in the Afghan capital of Kabul, Subhas visited the German embassy and discussed plans to collaborate in order to fight the British Empire. The German embassy then arranged for Subhas to be flown to Germany, where he secured funding from the German government in order to establish a resistance army in India. Subhas then flew to Singapore, which had recently been captured by the Japanese army, who had captured it from the British. During his time in Singapore, Subhas arranged the release of thousands of Indian soldiers who had been captured by the Japanese while fighting for the British Army, and he formed an army known as the Free Indian Army. The purpose of this army was to liberate India from British rule. The Free Indian Army consisted of 50,000 Indian soldiers. This army consisted of various different religious groups such as Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs. Subhas rejected sectarianism and called for unity between all religious and ethnic groups in India against the common enemy, which was the British Empire. He appointed military commanders such as Shah Nawaz Khan, who was a Muslim, Gurbakhsh Singh, who was a Sikh, and Prem Sagal, who was a Hindu. Subhas also rejected all other hateful ideologies across the world, and despite getting support from the Japanese and German governments, he strongly criticized their racist ideas. After obtaining funding from Germany and weapons from Japan, Subhas finally began conducting military operations against the British on the Burmese-Indian border. On February 4, 1944, Subhas and his army launched their first attack on the British. Within a few weeks, the Free Indian Army managed to defeat the British in many battles and liberated many towns and villages in the region of Assam. Besides launching military operations against the British, Subhas also formed an Indian government in exile, with its head office in Singapore. Subhas also established a radio station which broadcasted revolutionary statements throughout India in multiple regional languages, calling on Indians to travel to Burma and join the Free Indian Army. As a result, the size of the Free Indian Army continued to increase. After liberating towns from the British, Subhas and his army removed British flags and raised the flag of Free India. However, the army of Subhas began to decline after losing Japanese and German support due to his open criticism of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. As a result, the British reconquered the region of Assam and captured thousands of soldiers belonging to the army of Subhas Chandra Bose. However, Subhas managed to escape from Burma on a plane, but soon died due to a plane crash. Subhas Chandra Bose died in Taiwan on August 18, 1945,